You did bring up lugs there. I think actually that's kind of a place to kind of go to. Lugs have
Okay.
really kind of like died out in many ways. Where a lot of we talked about this in like our earlier conversation, that a lot of this like sort of community around FOSS has moved into digital spaces, and you don't really have as much in the way of in-person groups at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something I kind of it makes me a bit sad because online communication is often very functional and very text oriented, in the sense of at best you have an emoji or three, um, and people our age typically don't like emoji that much, so even we even skip that part. But what I have learned from my own hackerspace is we have people here, a bunch of nerds also, and people we call them neurospicy. I don't know if this is a global tense, a global expression, but it means yeah, we all have like our quirks, and it works this way. And the fact that we actually see each other also peripherally. So I mean, if I'm sitting here, and in the other room people are working on their project, and behind me there's some people soldering in an electronics lab, and somebody's 3D printing something. Even if you're not meeting each other, you're running into each other. You watch each other's project. So the benefit of having a physical event is that you have much more human interaction in a way that you feel safe. And a few years ago, I also had the idea that maybe with the rise of the whole AI and speech generation and text generation, that you also functionally not always are sure, am I actually talking to the real Brody, or am I talking to a script that is running here? But yeah, kind of. I think if you know people, it kind of works. But we've all heard the stories about phishing attempts and people getting called and the video calls. So I mean, it's the only the best way to know if something is real is to be there physically. And the only way to say something at peace is also to say it in a real context where it doesn't get recorded and will be used against you in the future. So the opportunity to be yourself and to slip up and say something stupid and have fun and not have this end up in some podcast somewhere is a good thing. Yeah. So I think some of the things that happen on certain mailing lists in our communities, if they would have been said in real life, the drama would have been much less.
Yeah, not to bring up any like specific things, but there is a lot of cases where I look at it. It's not even like in a private mailing list. It's in like the public core mailing list for a project, where it's like this could have been at worst like a private email. This didn't need to be like hashed out in front of everybody, and like I get why it is, right? It's easy. That's the place you're communicating, but I do wish there was sort of like more thought on the fact that like at this point, the FOSS space isn't this like niche little thing. A lot of people are seeing what is going on, and there's no reason to hash out your personal dramas sort of around everybody else.
Yeah, but I think that's also, I mean, this kind of communities. I mean, the fact that you now one because I've been watching, like, I've been binging your podcast, like the techie version of Home and Away, with all the drama and everything in it. So I mean, it's I kind of know you.
Sorry,
but I mean...
sorry. You talking about the same Home and Away I'm thinking of? The Australian show, or is there something?
Yes.
Why do you know that exists? Why are you aware of this?
This is something my sister was watching during our childhood, so this is like ancient.
Okay.
and I think it still exists. I don't know.
It does, yes. It is still airing constantly in Australia. We still get new episodes all the time. I don't know how long it's been going for. Too long. Too long's the answer.
Certainly 40-ish years.
Something like that. Not at all important.
Yeah, because I watched it when Kylie Minogue was a young girl.
Right.
Okay. Anyway. So, I mean, the fact that we're talking now, I have a feeling I'm talking to you, but I don't realize that I'm actually talking to, I don't know how much audience you have, how much people will be listening to this episode, maybe 200 or 500 or 10,000, I don't know.
The main video, probably, I would expect at least 10,000.
Yeah?
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah, and this longer segment is maybe a few thousand, but yeah. I mean, at that moment, I'm forgetting that I'm talking to all these people.
Right.
If I'm sending a mail to the mailing list, I'm forgetting maybe that I have all the bystanders when I'm replying to Linus Torvalds or whoever. I mean, I'm replying to this person, and I forget about all the people reading along. And all of a sudden, you get caught in this. Well, because you had an emotional outburst. I mean, we're all humans. We get emotional every now and then, and especially if we're coding until 2 in the night, and something you worked on very hard, and you're tired, and you're deeply affected about it, and then all of a sudden, somebody tells you that your sweet little code baby is not perfect. That hurts. Right, I mean, right. and these things happen, and if they happen in a public forum that feels private, there's something odd happening, and this is a difficult one, and that's something I think we should be careful about. But also, that's why I like in real life communities. Of course, it's hard to have it. I wouldn't have invited you over to Belgium for this interview because that would have been a hard one.
There's something about text that also feels like it's official, right? If something is written down, it's treated as something that is... I don't really know how to think about it, right? Where it's like, anybody writing something down, it just... I really don't know how to sort of like frame this. It feels like it's like an official documentation and this is an official communication of some sort. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, partially. But I'm going to tell you another story. I mean, this is a fun one.
Okay.
Back in the... I'm going to show my age a little bit here. But so back in the days when I got my first job, I had to go to a new city. I went to live in Menen. Menen is a city in Belgium. And I knew nobody because I moved into the house and so I thought I'm going to go on IRC, channel of the city name that didn't exist. So I went to the closest next city channel name. I went to Kortrijk, that's a city name. And I said, hey, who's from this area here? And Cobra Lord answered me, hey, I live like a few hundred meters from you, probably. So I got to know Cobra Lord, and we had some fun and chatting on IRC. We had nerding out and everything. And all of a sudden, we were talking about DVDs, and he said, oh yeah, I have that movie. Come on, I'll bring it over, and we'll go out then. So he brought me his DVD, and we went out to have a drink. And so all night long, I had been drinking beers with Cobra Lord and a few friends. I think Crazy Cat was one of them too. So anyway, we had some fun. Day, I had to bring the DVD back to his home, so he gave me his address. So I went to his home, hopped on my bike, went a small distance, expected to see Cobra Lord, but his mom opened the door. So, hi, is Cobra Lord home? And so the mom was instantly... she knew what was happening, so she called, Arne, somebody for you. And so Arne came from the steps, and then I gave back the DVD. So that's when I learned his real name. But I mean, on IRC online, people are just their names. I mean, if I hadn't gone out with him, Cobra Lord could have been a guy, a girl, 20 or 60. I don't know. I don't care. And back in those days, I also had like a role. My alias back then was also Cyber Padre. So people just talked to me. I had a lot of people from that channel, Kortrijk, who just talked to me and told me like the deepest secrets about traumas, about abuse. And then next day, if I don't know, maybe one of these people is the girl sitting behind the counter in the shop. I don't know. I mean, it also gives you like a veil of anonymity. And sometimes that's something safe. But if you're maybe agitated or drunk or abusive, that also gives you that same veil of anonymity that can be damaging too. I mean, we also had abusers on there. So the story works in two directions. But so I do believe in the power of this chat and this online community too. But it shouldn't be reduced to that stuff only.
Right, yeah. You like the idea of being able to connect people across distances, connect groups, being able to have a conversation like this. This wouldn't be possible without the internet, right?
No,
but
of course.
At the same time, that shouldn't be the only form of communication. There should be these sort of in-person groups. And I have noticed, I don't know what it's like for you, but I've noticed that a lot of board game stores are opening up here. And that was not a thing 6 or so years ago. There was just, there was like 1 or 2, maybe a while away, but there's maybe 5 or so board game shops that I can get to in a pretty close distance. So even outside of the FOSS space, it seems like a lot of people are starting to realize that there's something nice about doing things in person.
Yeah. I agree. I don't see that same movement happening here, but maybe that's also because I'm not looking for it. I don't know.
Fair enough.
There was one where I live, but it disappeared. So I'm not sure if it was very successful. So, but I don't know. Yeah, let's. I had something I wanted to say just the other. I forgot it. I'm assuming you can cut stuff out here.
It's all good.